Over the last 21 years here at Coffee Parts, I've noticed a pattern when it comes to people buying coffee equipment for home, and it basically comes down to 5 different setups. Over the years, the options to coffee machines, grinders, and accessories have become endless, but the actual fundamentals of the setup has remained the same. Hi, I'm Peter from Coffee Parts, and let's dive into 5 of the most popular setups. The first setup we tend to see for those getting into manual coffee at home or cafe style coffee at home. This setup doesn't take up too much of a bench space, and from a price point is at an entry level compared to the next setups we're going to be looking at. Over here you got the Gaggi Classic Pro, soon to be Evo, and Rancilia Silvia. Now, these machines have received almost cult-like status and bang for buck, they really are awesome. The machines we're going to look at from here on in are going to be better, but for what you get out of these two, it really is amazing value for money. And when it comes to grinders, now, grinders, you're really paying for what you get. The better the grinder, the better the overall result, because a coffee machine can only perform as good as the consistency of the ground coffee you give it. A good grinder to pair up at this level will be something like the Eureka Manuale. We got 50mm flat burrs and it's grinding on demand based on when you're activating this switch. No fancy electronics just yet, quite elementary, but you're still getting a really nice grind consistency. So this is your entry level setup. We tend to see these set up once again for apartments because of the bench space, those first getting into manual coffee at home, younger couples, and these machines easily do 1 to 2 coffees, even 3 or 4 if you got friends around, but they're not machines you'll be using for back-to-back coffees entertaining. Now I know what you're thinking. For the second setup, which you have here, you're thinking just up the coffee machine, up the grinder, and it's the second setup along the journey. But it isn't. A lot of times when people come in looking at entry points, not all entry points of cafe setup at home require milk base. You do get the espresso lovers, espresso fanatics, those wanting a lever machine, not having much bench space, but really wanting to play with espresso and wanting a truly manual approach. And that's what the setup here represents. Now you got the Flare, which is a lever machine with a 58mm portafilter. So a portafilter the same size as you got at every machine we're showing here today, and you have a temperature control kettle. Now, the Flare itself also has a somewhat temperature control in the group head, but it's more about maintaining that temperature. You still do have to give it water at a particular temperature. And with the grinder here, you got the Time War Sculptor 064S. Now, this is a single dose grinder which catches all your fines, and it has variable RPM speed control. So a lot of controls in the grinder, very low to no retention, controlling whether you collect or not collect those fines. You got temperature control here when it comes to the coffee side of things. You got your lever, which is emulating really neat pressure profile of ramping up, holding the pressure and ramping down, running a naked 58mm portafilter. Now that might sound like all technical specs, but what I'm trying to say, if you're a true espresso lover, really wanting to put in the work, having a lot of control, and not wanting to spend crazy amounts of money, this setup is epic at a very similar price point to the previous setup. It just requires a little bit more work and doesn't do milk. Now for the third setup, and probably the most popular setup we sell, is where things get real and it really does become a cafe setup at home. Machines like this Rocket Giotto are heat exchange and run either a vibrating or rotary pump. Now with the vibrating pump, it's the same pump as we saw earlier in package 1, where it pulsates the water through the group head, versus a rotary pump, which is what you see in a cafe, where it pushes the water through. Now machines like this come in an option of either vibrating or rotary, and generally with the rotary you can plumb them in. When it comes to making coffee on these machines, because they're heat exchange, you can do coffee and steam at the same time. So you get a lot more workflow and a lot faster and easier to operate, generally more temperature stability, and you can do more coffees back to back. So think of larger families, small entertainment, so apartments or houses, but now that you want to entertain with friends. And when it comes to the grinder, once again, like I said earlier, the better the grinder, the better results you're gonna get. And generally you're upping it a little bit from before. Now you have digital control, so it's grinding based on time, bigger burrs, a lot quieter to operate. And whether you're using this grinder or another, it really does become about grinders that run faster, more consistent, with less retention. This grinder here is the Eureka Special Leader. So a package like this, you tend to see people a little bit more established. They really want that cafe experience at home, have a little bit more room, bigger families, want to entertain, but you do see them just for the household of this one that really wants nice results at home and really wants beautiful things, like almost like an artwork on your kitchen bench. They really do become a centerpiece of the kitchen and a talking point. Now for the fourth setup, you might notice we're missing a machine. We didn't have a dual boiler setup in our showroom at the moment. We are redoing our showroom, and so we just didn't have one for the video. But we're looking at dual boiler machines with rotary pumps. Think of the R58 or La Marzocco Linea Mini. Now these machines tend to be for the entertainer, those wanting to have a lot of friends over, make a lot of coffees back to back, big families, have the bench space, or just want a lot of control of their coffee. These machines are dual boiler, so you have complete control of the temperature of your brew boiler, your coffee, and complete control of your steam pressure without affecting one another. You can make coffee and steam at the same time, and you can do a lot of coffees back to back. They really are complete commercial machines at home in a 10 amp package. And when it comes to the grinder, once again, along the lines of the Eureka, we've got the Eureka Libra. Now this is the same as the Special Leader, but it's giving you a little bit more control where it's grinding based on weight rather than time. And it makes things a lot easier. So in this case, we have it set up at 19.5 grams. You're grinding out 19.5 grams and running on our imaginary Rocket R58, and it makes it a super easy process. It really is a setup for bigger families, entertainers, those who really want a lot of control and have the bench space. And so we have it, the fifth setup, the Bowler setup. This is a hero setup of any brand or any home. Now, in this case, we're looking at a Slayer 1 group, but it could be the Kees Van den Westen Speedster, La Marzocco Lever X, Rocket R91. There's quite a few. Every brand has a hero machine. They tend to be twin boiler machines with other rotary or geared pumps. They're plumbed in. In many cases, there might be more than 10 amps, so there could be 15 amps. So they require a fair bit of install in the house, but you're buying these because you can. We tend to see these are not necessarily going to coffee fanatics, coffee lovers. We're seeing these go to people that really want the best. It's part of the interior design of their house. It's part of their talking point. It's a feature of the house. And in some cases, part of their collection. We do have quite a few customers that collect top-end machines and vintage machines. It sounds rare, but at the end of the day, I'm one of them. This is part of my collection. I bought this when it first came out in Australia, and it generally sits there in the back of the videos, much like I bought the Kees Van den Westen Speedster when they first came out, and to me at the time, it was my dream machine, and probably still my favorite machine. So that machine was an interesting purchase. The economy was going rough all around the world. It was 2008, and I figured if we're gonna go down, I might as well go down with my dream machine. I was quite young, I didn't know what a recession meant, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a crack. I bought that machine, and I've loved it ever since. It's one of the machines I've had from day one, and this will be my collection or my personal machine forever. We currently use it daily here in the warehouse downstairs, and it hasn't skipped a beat. With the EK43, once again, it's a machine that became quite famous in the World Barista Comps many years ago by Matt Perger. It is a special machine. For a home, you generally get the shorter version, the EK43S, and put a shorter hopper. We brought this because what we had in our warehouse, and it's a grinder that we use. But what I wanted to show is what a Bowler setup or a setup 5 would look like. My question to you is, what's your dream machine? Like I mentioned, mine was the Kees Van den Westen Speedster. It was and it still is. I want to know, what's your dream machine? Let me know in the comments below. And like always, if this video has brought you value, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Thank you and see you on the next video.